I hate GameStop. How's it going, guys? CrackedRack here, back at it again with another classical commentary video. I still love making this format because even though I create other things, I love doing these because it's just really fun and it allows me to tell some wacky stories. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about why I don't like GameStop at all. In fact, I would argue I literally hate this place and will never be going back ever again unless I had like a 5-year-old who wanted to check it out for fun, God forbid. Now, I have literally never liked video game stores ever. Even when I was a small child, I loathed them and thought they were just a big waste of time and money and just a big energy suck. And GameStop was the very worst. Every time I would trade in like $300 worth of shit, I'd get maybe $80 for it, and everything was just really expensive, and the employees were all really lame. Like, so lame, it would make you nauseous after interacting with them at the checkout stand, because they would just be so dorky and full of acne and so shy and uncomfortable. Every single employee at the checkout stand was like your own personal Jeffrey Dahmer. Anyway, let's get to why I'm talking about this in the first place. A couple of days ago, I was writing my book, Deplorable Instinct, or at least I was editing it, and I started to really want to play a video game. I started to get so immersed in my own story, I was like, I need a really cool, amazing story to take my mind off of my story. So I decided I was going to finally purchase Red Dead Redemption 2, which is one of the most amazing video games of all time, in my opinion. I've always wanted to play it, but I never wanted to shell out $60, so I decided I would hit up GameStop because they almost always carry several-year-old Rockstar game products at a significantly discounted price. At least so I thought. And the only way I was really going to get it under like $50 was at a retail shop. So I got in my car and drove a very sketchy, uncomfortable ride to the local GameStop. I say sketchy because I hadn't been here in over a decade probably, and I never noticed just how ghetto that area was. There were Section 8 housing units absolutely everywhere, along with hundreds of dead trees and trash all over the road. Police sirens are in the distance constantly. I actually locked my doors driving through this area. So I eventually got there, and it's just this tiny little shitbox of a GameStop. It almost looks like a little Starbucks stand with how small it was. However, I didn't let its ugly, pathetic exterior affect me because I knew this game store was going to be awesome. It's going to be new games, old games. Maybe they even returned all of the fucking classics from the PS2 era. Things were gonna be different. And so I walked into the GameStop with a big smile on my face, and it was the exact same store it was in 2011. You had these hideous and way overpriced stuffed dolls and really ugly action figures for these really stupid and annoying franchises. Like, you wanna as an adult go buy some Five Nights at Freddy's plushies? I doubt it. You wanna go buy some Minecraft Steve figurines? Probably not, but that's all that's here at this GameStop. On top of that, I also noticed that they stripped the entire store of all M-rated content. They have games, but that's it. They don't play any adverts, they don't have any posters, they don't have anything alluding to M-rated content, which I find kind of insulting. Way to make me feel like I'm a 5-year-old for trying to purchase a video game. And you know how every time you walk into a retail store in America, you just hear Katy Perry screaming, "You're gonna hear me roar"? Well, I would have killed for some of that, because at this GameStop, all we got was like 2-year-old footage of a man from E3 playing some Madden game and going, "Oh yeah, very good. Throw the ball. Oh, he caught the ball. Oh yes, these mechanics are working nicely." And then you have the selection of all the very brand new games for full price, and that's it. It's about the size of an RV. I felt less like I was at a retail franchise and more like I was doing something perverted. Anyway, so I go to the PS4 section, which is what I want Red Dead Redemption 2 on, and lo and behold, they don't even have very many PS4 games anymore. They're so intense about new games and pre-orders, they've literally wiped out their entire selection of slightly older games. You can either get Xbox One games, PS5 games, Nintendo Switch games, or you can go fuck yourself. And the games themselves are nothing to write home about. You have like Madden 2021 for like $40, and then you just have 20 different Assassin's Creed games for various prices. And then after 5 seconds of looking, because the selection is so small, I found the one game that was kind of interesting, aside from Red Dead 2, and that was Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, for $45! $45 for a used copy of Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition with no cover. I could not fucking believe my eyes. I knew right then and there I was never coming back to GameStop ever again, but then it gets worse. I finally found Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was a pre-owned copy, which meant it should have been really, really cheap, like $5 to $15. Well, its sticker price was actually $30. $30 for a scuffed, scratched copy of the game with no cover that had clearly been owned by, like, a sexual predator at one point. I didn't want to buy it at all. That was so insulting. $30. But I did spend 20 minutes getting here, so I decided to just buy it. At the cashier stand, however, was this really pissed off dude. He looked straight out of Grand Theft Auto 6. He was bald and Caucasian and covered in tattoos, and he was way bigger than the cashier. So much so that the cashier was actually scared of him and even visibly shaken by him. And also, the cashier looked like alternative James Corden. And I guess this guy was just so mad because he bought an Xbox here and it didn't work or something, so he was just being a giant asshole about it. So as alternative James Corden scrambles to get a new Xbox for this fucking douchebag, I tried to lighten the mood because I was standing so close to this fucking guy in this tiny store, so I decided to just say something random about his Xbox because, you know, that's easy conversation. So I was just like, hey, did you get any cool games? Are you excited for any specifically? And he looked at me in response like I had just accused him of being a pedophile. He wrinkled his face in disgust and shooed me away with his hand and his head as if to say, nah, go away. And I thought that was just really unnecessarily rude. He didn't have to be that fucking rude. He could have just said, no, not really, and I would have just been like, oh, okay. But he just acted like such a little bitch. And then the cashier was like a fat 5'3" anime shirt wearing James Corden looking loser, like I said, who wasn't standing up for himself at all, and he was just kissing this male Karen's ass out of fear. It was just so unfun, it completely sucked the energy out of me. And then suddenly I just hear these two little goblin children come into the GameStop going, "Oh, look, Minecraft! Mason, get back here!" As their morbidly obese mother follows them from behind while sighing and going, "Oh, these kids get so excited over this nonsense!" And it's like, no shit, lady. Children like video games. Newsflash. Newsflash. Children find joy in video games. You dumb bitch. Better crush their spirits and make them feel like killing themselves. And I couldn't help but look at this family of people because it was just so funny watching these children surround EA's Battlefront DLC stand and go, cool. At the checkout stand, the cashier had nothing to say to me. I couldn't believe how rude he was being. I kept trying to be as nice as possible and he would not say anything to me. And it wasn't like it was just me. I saw him do this to the other customers as well. So after checking out my overpriced game on my outdated console, I decided I'd check out the new games just to see how much they were. And oh my god, if you want a PS5, a couple of controllers, and a couple of basic games, you're gonna be paying $700 fucking dollars. That is an entire month's worth of rent on a console that has to offer you like 2 games and a grilled cheese sandwich. So after leaving the store, I never wanted to go back again. I felt so rushed by the staff and just insulted by how shitty the display was and how shitty the games were and how expensive things were. I will say Red Dead 2 is an amazing video game. I've already sunk like 40 hours into it. I fucking love it to death. But man, I had to really earn it with this whole endeavor. And when I actually got home and put the game in my console, it wouldn't work! Because the game was so scratched. There were scuffs and marks and little pieces of shit all over the back of the disc. And I had to rub toothpaste on it to get it off for like 30 minutes. Just good God, I wish GameStop would fucking burn down, and I wish it would be replaced with something better. Anything. Anything. I want a place that has video games that are older than 2021. I want a place where there aren't a bunch of fucking meth heads surrounding it all day freaking out. Where there are display posters of games for people older than 3. Anyway, that's all for today. See ya.